Oh man, fucking Apple. And well, hello again. And look at this. So Japan pushed it allowed to force these big tech corpos that sell you devices to be open so they can allow more storefronts. So yeah, breaking out the monopoly. And we have covered also how iOS is on board on censorship. Action Taimanin, the gacha game, not the novels, not the BNs. It got fucking the plan for by iOS. Well, they were forced to comply with censorship to stupid insane levels. But you know what happens when you censor? You are fucked. You are fucked as a developer, as a creator, because when you censor, considering all of we have seen, yeah, because the gacha wells they are just going to walk away. They are not going to invest money, and this is how it's going to end. And then we have covered also how that other gacha game in Japan, only for Japan, had to rely on something like putting just the characters in black screens entirely. And they're still trying to beg iOS to make them have the game there. But you know how Apple it is. They are putting Westerners in charge of managing and dictating what the Japanese people can post and what not, despite that they have the proper age classifications. And well, look how fucking Apple reacted. New Japanese law meant to ensure fair competition for mobile game developers get neutralized by Apple's new Japan's specific fees. So, Japan's Mobile Software Competition Act, MSCA, has forced Apple to open its iOS to third-party app stores, but the company has responded with rules that seemingly undercut the benefits. And I keep saying, you know what? If these ones, at least if this managed to save Android from being a lockdown system, I'm all for it. At least remain Android, keep supported that one, and nick up Google if they try to do something like iOS. But because iOS has been for the longest time the most region locked one, and also we have seen Google is following the same steps. And if Japan and even what remaining of the Western world that is not fucking co-opted and corrupted by all this fucking nonsense of globalist ideology, yeah, they should keep an law like that to force them to be open. But well, let's continue. Epic Games CEO Tim Sweeney, ah man, Timmy, posted on December 18 criticizing changes Apple has locally introduced to the Japanese app stores in response to the country's new smartphone law. He condemned the changes as a travesty of obstructions and lawbreaking in gross disrespect to the government and people of Japan. Well, that's these fucking Western companies for you, man. I love to clown on Tim Sweeney, but at least this one he is kinda right. And at least I'm going to be credit there. Yes, just these fucking companies such as Apple, they don't want to break into monopoly, but also they want to detect what you can consume and you can't. Because remember, even when they were selling the VR as the fucking interactive tool from iOS, but which I don't remember, man. The device I don't remember at all which was named. But yeah, people were complaining because even they were, of course, using it for adult stuff, and Apple immediately cut off that and just ban it and make the software that they already had useless. So yeah, this is why I hate fucking Apple, man. Oh well, as we are progressing here, so and announced that Fortnite will not be returned to the Japanese iOS store this year. Likewise, local developers in Japan are not impressed with the changes either. Yes, nobody should be surprised with this. Formerly called the Mobile Software Competition Act (MSAA), the new Japanese law in question is meant to regulate the market dominance of major mobile OS and app stores providers like Apple and Google, and help to prevent monopolistic practices. For example, the providers will be required to open their OS to third-party app stores. This is especially impactful for mobile game developers and players in Japan, given that Apple and Google charge 30% commissions on in-app purchases made through the App Store and Play Store respectively. Don't forget about the censorship. However, Apple has in response argued that the MSAA requirements for alternative app stores and payment channels quote-unquote open new avenues for malware. How many times we have called out bullshit on that one? How many times we have called it, because also we have seen how apps from the iOS store, just like as much as Google, well, Google of course they are the different league of malware installation and spyware with the Play Store. Well, also happens the same with the iOS store, and for real, man, like who are you fooling? What, who are you fooling? For fuck's sakes, man. No, but well, let's continue with the bullshit statement. Fraud and scams, and privacy and security risk, and has thus implemented several local changes. This includes new fees such as a 21% commission when developers use third-party in-app payments and a 50% commission on transactions made via website linked to by the developers. Sweeney refers to this as junk fees. So instead of being 30, it turns into 36 in order to break free from the censorship and control. Yeah, fucking Apple, man. Fuck this company, it's scummy as always. He also criticized that Apple's requirement that developers distributing apps or services outside the App Store must submit monthly reports detailing all transactions to Apple via dedicated API. That's absolutely bullshit. That's absolutely bullshit. Because even I have to say this, you have an Steam app to buy stuff. This is fucking stupid. So yeah, detailing what all the transactions. Man, they have been trying to force Steam to do that shit. That shit doesn't happen at all with Google. And it's not yet, but fuck, man. But this corpus, they still want you to be disclosed and be remain as such in order to remain open. Oh yeah, you have to state accounts to us, and even this doesn't even break out the censorship because they are still going to claim, oh, you were selling fan service Gunner stuff, so you are committing something that actually is against some terms and service which are vague as fuck. We are still going to the platform you. This doesn't fix anything. It's just to discourage others to just trying to have no open solutions for iOS. I have a better one. I heard that not only Google there is doing this shit, but you have other OS, Graphene OS. I think even considering all the booming with Linux and open source OS around there, not only for PCs but also for mobile, it could be a strong opportunity if at this point Japan explores like manufacturing or receiving devices that allow least Graphene OS, which also that one, the open source foundation that is developing and keeping in support, is managing to make the API keys from Android work there. There must be no competition now because even Steam acknowledged that Linux at that point, if they still want to gaming to keep alive, well, they have to make your game run on another system, have other alternatives, because fuck, look at his. You are still just complying with Apple's bullshit. And look at this, suggesting that this amounts to Apple surveillance every transaction at comparing stores. Yes, because they don't want to break the monopoly. Many Japanese developers were optimistic that the MSCA coming into action will help to relieve the financial burden of paying high fees to Apple and Google. You know what? You can bend over Google to Jet. You still can. And if not, if Google repeats the same shit, you know what? Yes, you should explore what I already said about Graphene OS because I heard people are using even certain devices that are old and installing that. But well, let's continue. This would also be beneficial for players, potentially lowering the prices of microtransactions. Oh, that's true because I haven't talked about this, but Blue Archive introduced a battle pass to unlock a special furniture for Mika swimsuit. But in Android, it costs fucking $25 and on the Steam version costs 18. Yes, Google and Apple, they are fucking greedy as fuck. However, Apple's response to the new law seems to have complicated things in brand new way, diminishing the benefits of breaking away to the App Store. Japanese game producer Uryo shared his following view on the new changes. After discussing things on the team, we have concluded that for the small to medium-sized businesses, there's ultimately little benefit to breaking away from app stores. Our concern are that the customer support costs, initial development costs, and maintenance operational expenses are likely to increase compared to current levels, because that's what they want. This is the problem with lockdown systems. Fucking Apple operates like fucking consoles. Also, since using external payment processors means paying transaction fees there too, you end up paying 5% core technology fee plus several percent and external payment fees. Who were like, is there really any advantage? It also simply seems like something that will increase the burden on players. Yes, I haven't heard anything from Google yet. Well, yeah, at least I hope that that one managed to keep the OS open up. Just saying. But yeah, for iOS, yeah, th- this is what I dislike from Apple in general. Most of the stuff that they sell you is fucking kneecap. And yes, they make money out of it a lot, but also they dictate censorship. It would be less of an issue if they actually manage it to let you have the stuff uncensored, even when it's properly tagged. But they already stated that nothing related to adult content is allowed, and they moved the goalpost to mature 17 is adult stuff, and so, while is teen or E for everyone is teen related and almost considered mature stuff. And yes, it's the kind of shit that I really dislike from these companies. But yeah, this is something that happened recently. Fuck Apple, man. That's it. Thanks for watching and please take care.